his travels, and his energy, but I am compelled to speak of a man who intimately became both physician and friend to the Alperin Goldberg family. Briefly, in 1967, when my first husband, Joel Mitchell Alperin, was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, it was traditional in our little town of Scranton, Pennsylvania, to send patients with difficult diagnoses, to the University of Pennsylvania Hospital. So off we went to Penn, where my husband was essentially told he would probably have 6 months to live. While on a table getting his first radiation therapy treatment, he asked if he was being treated aggressively, to which a reply never came. So he persisted and ascertained finally that this would not be the case, so he promptly exited the room, the table, in his garb, hospital garb, called a cab and said, "Take me to other hospitals." Went shopping for a doctor. Well, after several fruitless trips, enter Luther W. Brady of Hahnemann Hospital, which was not as well known then and certainly did not have the credentials of a Penn or Jefferson in most people's minds. But I must tell you that once you entered those doors of that department, you knew you were not only in the right place, in the right department, with the right doctor, with the right people, period. And talk to him, Dr. Brady did. And Dr. Brady listened. Endlessly listened. There are some residents here today, Mike and Rich, and some of you remember that crazy guy from Scranton who never shut up, always wanting to be not only part of the discussion for his treatment, but boldly planting himself during the treatment decisions. Well, Daddy had his PhD in math and physics, helped a little bit. But he did ease his way into the conversations. But more importantly, Dr. Brady brought in other voices, unheard of at that time, to discuss his condition, his treatment, and his future. And he had a future, my friends. After being given a 6-month diagnosis between Dr. Brady and his crew, and so many of you are here today, my husband lived for 13.5 years to be a father to his 3 young children, and my son David is here today. The trust and loyalty we placed in Dr. Brady was never misplaced. There were many anxious and agonizing moments, but there were more amazing, brilliant, and glorious moments. Because Luther recognized early on that this man's personality not only needed to be involved, but that he needed to be acknowledged. Dr. Brady treated him not simply as a cancer diagnosis, but as a person who had a life, who had a family, who had an intense desire to live, and who wanted to continue to dream. I would like to think the relationship went both ways, and I do think Dr. Brady will attest to that. They learned from each other and reveled in the mastery of the art of medicine and compassion. Not all patients have been blessed with such good results, but no matter the time and energy required, Dr. Brady was there, and I mean fully there. In today's lingo, he's got your back. The department then, under his direction, was magnificent. Each and every person was vital to the dynamics of patient management, starting with Terry McKay, who in her colorful dress and very high heels, she would sweep the department each day, keeping everybody on schedule. And I mean everybody. And then, of course, sweet Mary Lou Chin, and her sweetness kept everybody happy. Sophie, Carl, Denise, Rocky, Susha, Teddy Jr., Jack Shocker, Rich and Mike are here. No startling surprises, only comforting ones. It was the early days of the Women's Cancer Research Group, led by Sue Medoff, who is here. I can still smell those brownies and cookies that they sold in the hospital lobby. And they are still in the cancer research business. Sue, you're going to celebrate your 50th anniversary? Yes, Dr. Brady's going to be there to celebrate their 50th anniversary. They really deserve it. Because bake sales, that's how you started, bake sales.
Sorry.
Over all those years, there were a lot of funny, weird, crazy times in the department between us. And you guys, I remember the lunches right after treatments. He would get a treatment and take all the nurses to lunch. Prime computer sessions, Oneida biscuits, and always at his fingertips. The Ralph Lauren blankets he handed out frequently. I bet some of you remember those blankets he gave you. The Saturday night parties at the Marriott Hotel on City Line Avenue, which was home to us during the summer treatments, and the adventures in Puerto Rico with Dr. Brady's wonderful colleague, Dr. Victor Marcial, who was in charge. San Juan was our winter home when the snows came to Scranton. I and my kids, Liz, David, and Judy, Leah, still remember all of it and talk about them lovingly. My husband had the privilege of being alive to witness the dedication of the Luther W. Brady Pavilion, for which he worked tirelessly. The portrait you saw downstairs and here was done for that occasion. And to me and many others, he is still that vibrant man to whom we turn. I continue to rely on Dr. Brady for his expertise, his network, and his kindness. And he continues to be a friend to whom I turned once again when my second husband, Chef Goldberg, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2008. He put me in the trusted hands of Dr. Renee Rubin, who has since become a wonderful friend, and Dr. Lydia Komanicki, who honored the tradition of compassionate care. And even though his life was taken from us 3 months later from that awful, mysterious cancer, those short, precious moments were filled with constancy of attention and care, and they mourned along with our family. So in closing, I wanted to gently impress among those coming into your own future in medicine that you don't get to have a department named after you just because you're a nice guy. Each individual you treat deserves the best of you, no matter the circumstance. You will be rewarded with the best of them as they and their families reflect on their lives, which they have put in your hands, and they shall feel blessed, no matter the circumstance or outcome, to have been acknowledged. Many years ago, I had the honor to be a board member and president of the Brady Cancer Research Institute. Keith Strauss here, when Dr. Brady retired that group, she was the president, I was the vice president, and I think we're still sitting members of that board, but we haven't had a board meeting in 15 years. We're going to start it up again. We're going to start it up again, okay. But our motto was, hope is the search for cure. A fellow board member, renowned artist Sam Maiden, created paintings with that motto embedded within. I said then, and I feel it now, that at whatever level you can support medical research to benefit all is a truly significant achievement. Hahnemann and Dr. Brady have personally given me, as just a bystander in this endeavor, a challenging and rewarding opportunity to contribute to the quality of life between birth and death. I feel privileged to have been a small part of the process. So to my dear, dear friend Luther, I thank you for all these years of counsel and friendship. May you be that beacon of light and hope in our world for many, many more years.